The news just keeps on rolling in. There's still so much to talk about for Marvel Spider-Man 2, especially after that massive news dump that happened yesterday, including my hands-on impressions. Of course, with that, I wanted to detail as much exclusive information as possible, but there are still going to be some things that I missed, or things that I didn't try out when I had my hands on, that other people, other members of media, other content creators ended up doing themselves. So, we're going to talk about things like, well, fall damage today, and we're going to talk about other things like the different performance modes that are available, the fidelity modes that are going to be available in Marvel Spider-Man 2, as that was confirmed by IGN. And then we're also going to be talking about the fact that you're scrolling down at this current moment and hitting the thumbs up button, because I know that your hype for Spider-Man 2 is through the roof right now. But okay, let's get into this now, and I want to talk about something that I forgot to actually include in my video yesterday. I tweeted about this and people went nuts. During my time with my hands on playing Marvel Spider-Man 2, I was messing around in the settings just to see what different options are available. As I was scrolling through, I noticed that there was an option to toggle fall damage on or off. Now, I didn't really experiment with this. I was more enveloped in using like the web wings and web swinging around the city, just seeing the open world. So I didn't test out what fall damage is like, but nevertheless, it's an option in the game. I know for some people, it doesn't really matter. For others, they think, well, why do we even need fall damage if we're Spider-Man? And well, for a group of people, they're very excited because it just adds to an extra bit of realism. And what I did see for a large group of people is that they want something like fall damage just because it raises the skill ceiling ever so slightly when you're playing the game. It just raises the stakes. You got to make sure that you're hitting your swing so that you don't splat. And for that reason, you know what? Okay, I understand. More power to you. At the end of the day, if it's just an option, we all win. The people who want fall damage, turn it on. The people who don't care and don't want it, keep it off. Another thing that I forgot to talk about, actually, just because there was so much to go over, is that when you're using your web wings, if you're going fast enough above the water, what I was trying to do was see how low I can go and kind of just skate above the water ever so slightly. Inevitably, I realized, no, I kind of touched the ground, but instead of just dropping into the water, I actually started surfing. I started skating along the water. It was awesome. Unfortunately, in the B-roll that we were provided by PlayStation, there's no actual footage of this, but think back to the PlayStation Showcase demo when Miles is sort of skating across the water as the lizard is attacking him from behind. It's basically like that. But for some of you who are big fans of Insomniac games and the games that they have released over the years, this is pretty similar, as pointed out by Aaron Jason Espinosa working at Insomniac Games, to the water dashing that you can do in Sunset Overdrive. And this is just a testament to how good of a developer Insomniac Games is, because Sunset Overdrive is such a gem, super underrated, one of their best games, honestly, especially when it comes to traversal, and definitely a good proof of concept that they were totally capable of making a Spider-Man game. And to think things that they were doing in that game almost 10 years ago, they are now re-implementing into games that they are making today, and it still works just as well. The only caveat here is that when you land on the water after using your web wings above it and you're skating, you got to make sure that you jump back up, so then you can go either into a web swing, into like a web launch, or back into your web wings. If you don't, you just slowly lose momentum and then you just drop into the water. It's just a small little tidbit, but it adds so much to the traversal in the game, and I was very happy to find out that that's what happens when you're gliding over the water and then you land on the water. And then one more thing I wanted to go over traversal wise is a question that I know a ton of people had on their minds regarding the slingshots that we know are in the game. Some people were hoping that you can slingshot pretty much anywhere around the open world, and unfortunately, in my time playing Marvel Spider-Man 2, I noticed that that wasn't the case. There are just specific rooftops that you will definitely notice that have places where you can slingshot. I know it's a bit of a bummer, but honestly, they're more frequent than you think, and they're in good spots in the open world where you want to combine the slingshot with your web wings into a wind tunnel and so on. It's really fun. It's about as fun as it's going to be for me to continue to talk about Marvel Spider-Man 2 due to the amount of news that we've got here. So make sure you're subscribed and make sure you got the notifications on. Tons of more Spider-Man 2 content coming your way. But okay, when I was playing the game, there was one thing that I actually didn't try that I didn't realize a ton of people were wondering about, and that's loop-de-loops. I think I've heard that term more in the last 24 hours than I have in my entire life. And thankfully, my good friend Jake Baldino over at Game Ranks, he also got his chance to play Marvel Spider-Man 2, and he tried it. And it turns out, based on what he's saying, that's something that you can do in the game. He said, you know, he went down into a dive bomb, hit a swing, and then held on to his swing to do a full circle, and then it kind of launched him off, and he gained some momentum off of it. And thankfully, Aaron Jason Espinoza over at Insomniac Games decided to expand upon this a little bit when somebody asked him on Twitter. They asked him if you can do loop-de-loops, and he said, indeed, you can do loop-de-loops while diving and executing a swing, just don't let go. You can also do a corner tether to make immediate quick turns, so a hard left or a hard right. The Spider-Man Shots Twitter responded to Aaron asking if you can do this, and then they included a gif of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man pretty much making that hard right turn. You know, he's swinging with one hand, uses his other hand to web a building to make a sharp right. And Aaron responded saying, yep, you can do something like that, and that is so cool. I wish I tried this out. I'm mad at myself for not thinking about it. But in general, those loop-de-loops are probably gonna be so much fun. Hit that full loop, gain all that momentum, let go of your webs into your web wings. I cannot wait to try that out. And a lot of people were asking me when we got to play whether or not we got to check out performance mode. Unfortunately, or I guess even fortunately for some people, when we got to play Marvel Spider-Man 2, they locked it in fidelity mode. So we only got to see it in that beautiful 4K with the amazing ray tracing. The people over at IGN did get to interview members at Insomniac and ask them about a performance mode. And well, it was confirmed that that's going to be in the game. And James Stevenson quote tweeted their article saying 30 FPS, 40 FPS, and 60 FPS, all with ray tracing. He quoted the director of core technology at Insomniac Games, Mike Fitzgerald, who was interviewed by IGN, where he said there's no mode of this game that has the ray tracing turned off. No need for it. We really figured out how to deliver what we feel like is the right Spider-Man picture and visuals, and we want to make sure every player is seeing that. That's insane, man. There isn't an option to turn off ray tracing in Marvel Spider-Man 2. They figured it out. They know how to have this game running at either 30, 40, or 60 while still having ray tracing on no matter what. This is the next-gen experience we have been waiting for since these consoles first dropped 3 years ago, and I'm so glad it's Insomniac Games to be the ones to deliver that. Don't get me wrong, I love fidelity mode. I love seeing the game in all its crisp 4K beauty, but I also like to see the buttery smoothness of 60 FPS, and I was glad in the previous 2 games on the PS5 that they ended up adding a performance ray tracing mode, because I think ray tracing is so cool. And so now I get them both. I get the cool ray tracing and I get the buttery smooth 60 FPS. I'm very, very happy to hear that. And that covers just about everything I want to talk about for this video, but believe me, there's still a ton to go over, including some other alternate suits that may be confirmed. More videos coming your way throughout the week. Stay tuned. And with that being said, let me now kick it to you guys. Sound off with your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about all these details? First of all, what do you think about the loop-de-loop? What do you think about the fact that you can skate across the water? Are you bummed out that you can't do a slingshot anywhere around the open world and it's only at select rooftops? And then finally, what do you think about the different FPS modes? The fact that ray tracing is always on. Sound off with your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button. I've been Caboose, and I'll see you guys later.